Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. This webinar is part of our Oracle at Oracle webinar series, where we have the opportunity to hear from the executive team that reimagined Oracle. In this series of webinars, we will share the insights from our own journey to the cloud, and we'll demonstrate how we're using Oracle Cloud, specifically here, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, to power our business and enable exceptional customer and employee experiences. And we'll share our learnings along the way so that other businesses can do the same. And let's dive into today's topic. Over the course of the next 40 minutes or so, you'll hear about how Oracle is running our next-gen SaaS on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Now I'll hand it over to your webinar hosts for today, Karthik and Steve, so they can introduce themselves and tell you about what they do at Oracle.
Hi, everybody. This is Steve Enevold. I'm in Oracle SaaS engineering, and my role is security for our SaaS applications and our services. I've been at Oracle for 25 years. I've been doing security for 18 years, and I have a bunch of the security certifications. Now I'll turn it over to Karthik.
Thank you, Steve. Hi, I'm Karthik Murali, a product strategy manager within the Oracle SaaS engineering group. My role is essentially a field-facing resource who can champion SaaS service operations discussions. It includes providing assistance related to complex operational topics on an ongoing sales pursuit, post-sales queries and clarifications, and lead knowledge management by designing collateral for continual learning and internal education. Additionally, I also run the CVC program along with my esteemed colleague, Steve Enevold, where we help our existing and potential customers familiarize themselves with Oracle Cloud Operations and provide them with insights on how all of these different operational pieces fit together to run this massive cloud footprint. So without further ado, let's get started. Just so that you can see our pictures and how we look. This is our safe harbor statement slide, which provides the necessary guidance that this presentation is in no way intended to outline our general product direction. The content shared in this webinar is for informational purposes only. Again, on behalf of Oracle SaaS Engineering, I and Steve welcome you all to this Oracle at Oracle Infrastructure webinar series, wherein today we will share how Oracle runs its next-gen SaaS on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. We positively hope that the information relayed via this presentation provides our existing customers with an overview of cloud infrastructure's operational elements and our prospective customers with resourceful insights to move forward with their own digital transformations. We will cover 6 sections in this presentation today. In section 1, we will walk through a brief overview of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Section 2 will highlight the Oracle Cloud footprint, its growth and scale. The third section will encompass how we operationalize SaaS on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. We shall then uncover the strong support framework of Oracle Cloud Service Operations that secures and keeps this massive cloud up and running. Section 5 will help us familiarize ourselves with Oracle's SaaS disaster recovery standards and policies. And finally, we will be learning about Oracle's SaaS security and compliance. Cloud computing offers solutions that help in cost reduction and increased IT agility. Over the past decade, we have witnessed the evolution of the cloud computing paradigm as fundamental technologies have sufficiently matured to adapt to efficient IT models. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure has been built by following industry standards per the National Institute of Standards and Technology, that is NIST guidelines. It covers the 5 principal characteristics of a successful cloud model, which are broad network access, measured service, on-demand self-service, rapid elasticity, and resource pooling. Oracle offers all 3 service models, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, and has a variety of products across all the 3 different deployment models as well, which are public, private, and hybrid cloud. When a customer is evaluating their digital transformation in order to migrate to the cloud, they look for the 4 rudimental components that make an enterprise-grade cloud. They are flexibility, scalability, reliability, and security. Some of the common questions that come up in the evaluation process are, is the cloud flexible enough to accommodate the breadth and portfolio of different cloud adoption models? Can the cloud handle the demand by its ability to scale? Can the cloud provide optimal service uptime and have minimal business disruptions? And one of the most important factors, how secure is the cloud? Well, Oracle Gen 2 Cloud Infrastructure meets the needs of our customers worldwide. It provides the necessary flexibility to support various cloud verticals. It has the scalability to operate globally for true business continuity by providing services from geographically distributed regions. It is powered with high-end tech and hardware like Oracle's own Exadata systems for extreme reliability. And finally, a security-first design approach that embeds stringent security controls in each layer to deliver a secure and compliant cloud service. The evolution and development of cloud computing represents a very noteworthy change in the way an organization's IT arm develops, operates, and supports business-critical workloads. Transitioning to the cloud is a significant decision for any business. To support our increasing customer base and continual growth, we made the decision to migrate Oracle's broad SaaS portfolio to the Oracle Gen 2 Cloud Infrastructure. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure has an extensive worldwide presence, and we are still growing. As of August 2020, Oracle has 25 cloud regions globally supporting various cloud verticals, ranging from public cloud for commercial to clouds for the government sector, and offering sites for interconnectivity between Oracle and Microsoft Azure. Oracle's expansion plans constitutes to add 11 more regions by the end of next year to make a total of 36 cloud regions across the world. We have 16 dedicated data center regions for Oracle SaaS Cloud today, and the plan is to expand and add 4 more by the end of the next year to support our ever-increasing SaaS cloud customer base. With global presence in more than 175 countries and supporting our customers in 29 languages, our entire business has certainly benefited from Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Oracle Gen 2 Cloud has been built with security first in mind. Its reliability and ability to scale enables our customers to succeed in their business transformations as well. The stats that you see on this slide is a testament to Oracle's successful operation of its huge cloud footprint. Oracle Cloud supports billions of cloud database transactions every day, and we have an average of 90 million weekly cloud users. With more than 175,000 VMs in 16 global data center regions for SaaS alone, we continue to grow and expand, thereby helping customers across the globe to succeed and accomplish their business goals by simplifying their IT with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Oracle's Enterprise SaaS Suite is now being deployed on Oracle's Gen 2 Cloud Infrastructure. The latest innovations and the unique capabilities offered by our second-generation infrastructure has enabled us to ensure successful delivery of our services via a robust DevSecOps model and allowed us to support our customers' business requirements and complex transitions. Oracle's goal has been to simplify IT, and Oracle's tech stack is a great example. Oracle offers an effective hardware and software stack. The layers are decoupled and built using open standards. The key differentiator here is that Oracle stack consists of all Oracle products, sporting versatility for streamlined operations, and optimized to create and run comprehensive enterprise-grade solutions. Oracle has a 24/7/365 global support model available for its customers' assistance. As mentioned earlier, Oracle's Gen 2 Cloud has been designed with a security-first approach to detect and defend against modern threats and ensuring maximum protection and privacy of customer data. Oracle Gen 2 Cloud Infrastructure has 3 foundational pillars: performance, reliability, and security. It is due to these 3 significant features we are experiencing a very positive impact on our business. Along with developing leading enterprise-level software applications and offering a wide array of infrastructure solutions, Oracle also manufactures some of the fastest, most reliable, secured servers in the world, and they are Oracle Exadata systems. And we use these servers in our data centers. These are very high-powered engines that our SaaS applications are running on. These systems are used throughout Oracle's Gen 2 cloud infrastructure. The extra security that's built into the hardware and their extreme processing power helps us to meet the performance expectations for our SaaS customers. Secure data management and processing has been Oracle's heritage. Oracle innovates at every layer of the stack and offers this multi-layer security approach on the next-gen cloud infrastructure that has been recently rebuilt from ground up. Oracle differentiates itself from other providers by committing to an industry-leading 99.7% uptime service level agreement for all our SaaS services. This exhibits the total trust that we have in our own cloud infrastructure's reliability. Oracle has a comprehensive SaaS portfolio that, when clubbed with the updated Gen 2 infrastructure, becomes a winning combination for businesses, as it helps them save hours of requirements analysis and planning intricacies. Oracle's SaaS applications are globally available from various data center regions and is translated into many languages. What does this mean? This means that if a customer wishes to expand to another country, they can do that very easily and very quickly. Oracle's SaaS applications on the Gen 2 infrastructure enables businesses to process faster and reduce risks. All applications are designed with emerging tech that are pre-built for rapid business adoption and assists in standardizing processes across different verticals in an organization. All of this is anchored by Oracle's security experts constantly monitoring the internet and Oracle's cloud network and ensuring that there are no unexpected fraudulent activity, thereby protecting our customers' data continually. A strong support model is essential to ensure smooth and efficient cloud operations. Oracle has a very large support organization with more than 10,000 support service personnel, specializing in different technical domains, available 24/7, 365 to provide the best assistance to our customers. We follow a funneled approach and an effective escalation model that has helped us to improve scalability with consistent response times and customer service requests. The tiered service operations helps in the sharing of granular service knowledge. The appropriate triaging of the service requests to the specialists, along with the former, provides predictable resolution times as well. Because we have a reliable infrastructure that we host our SaaS applications on, and a well-structured cloud services and support organization, we are able to provide the additional affirmation to our customers by further strengthening our SaaS delivery commitments. And how do we do that? Oracle offers 99.7% service uptime availability for our entire SaaS fleet, and we contractually commit to it, which makes us accountable for that commitment. We take it further by publishing service credits for every missed SLA per our policy. And now the customers have that added financial assurance as well. Customer satisfaction is imperative, and therefore we give all our customers the right to terminate for chronic unavailability. That is, the customer can terminate their services with us if we do not meet the SLAs. We have a very broad, multi-layered cloud monitoring framework in place, which helps us to establish comprehensive security safeguards in order to protect our cloud environment from malicious and fraudulent activities. Every layer across the stack is being monitored 24/7 for any suspicious behavior. Starting from the top, we have in-house tools that assist in monitoring user experience. This provides the customer service admin some insightful data that they can leverage for internal reporting and also understand a lot about their application's usage. Synthetic transaction monitoring is a form of active web application performance monitoring that involves deploying behavioral scripts in a web browser to simulate the path that a real end user takes through a website. This helps us determine performance, but also helps us to understand whether the website is functioning correctly, ensuring that specific interactions result in the desired response. Oracle Enterprise Manager ensures monitoring of environments, deriving availability metrics and KPIs, displaying status summary across all subscribed services, and it also has a drill down capability to identify root cause immediately. We employ a well-known security information and event management solution that helps in bringing event, threat, and risk data together to provide security intelligence, rapid incident response, seamless log management, and compliance reporting. Oracle also conducts both internal and third-party assessments to provide the information necessary both internally and externally to our customers that Oracle is performing as expected to effectively protect Oracle and its customers. And finally, we also perform external monitoring, meaning URL, BGP, internet peer monitoring, which provides us visibility beyond our cloud network and further reinforce strict security measurements to protect our customer data. Recent statistics show that an average of 81% of the service requests received in the last year were taken care of by Oracle's Cloud Service Center's Level 1 support team. There were just a few that required the next level escalation for attaining complete resolution. This is evidence that a robust service operations model, an exhaustive monitoring framework, and a reliable infrastructure helps us to resolve service requests within the first tier itself. Incident management and problem management are two integral processes that comprise a capable and a competent support structure. Oracle has well-defined incident and problem management processes. The objectives of the incident management process is to notify the customer as soon as there is an incident impacting them. Please note, we do not have an SLA. Instead, we have something called first response SLO for each severity starting from SEV 1 to SEV 4. For example, if it is a SEV 1, meaning a mission critical business impact level incident, Oracle will respond within 15 minutes time frame. And there will be hourly, that is continual updates provided on the progress of the incident's resolution. A communication is sent over once the incident is closed. The problem management process works in alignment with the incident management process. An RCA, a root cause analysis, is performed within 24 hours after any major incident, and the customer is detailed with additional information within 10 days. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight about My Oracle Support, or as the Oracle community fondly calls it, MOS. My Oracle Support is a customer-facing portal where Oracle offers a variety of training programs to help our customers learn best practices and optimize their support interactions. MOS is just not a medium through which a customer can log service requests for assistance, but it has a plethora of very useful material and knowledge base that customers can leverage for their continual education about Oracle services. We have an active developer and user community within My Oracle Support, where you can find answers to frequently asked questions related to Oracle products and services, tips and tricks on SaaS implementations, and much more. Now let's talk about disaster recovery. Disaster recovery is an essential characteristic for any public cloud SaaS solution. It is the fundamental pillar of resilience that helps in the recovery of a customer's production environment and assists in bringing the business operations to normalcy. Oracle's disaster recovery plan is developed in conjunction with its business continuity plan. We have a comprehensive system of recovery processes in place to bring our customers' business-critical systems back online within the briefest possible period of time. This system is responsible for minimizing downtime and data loss during disaster recovery. The table that you see on the slide describes Oracle SaaS DR service tier description. The first service tier is the committed RTO and RPO service tier. Services are focused on service availability, the service level agreements that are in place dictate low RTO and RPO values. And in order to conform to those RTO and RPO values, certain technologies must be in place. The primary technology that allows these values to be achieved is a real-time data replication. The second tier is the basic contingency plan, which we also call as the best effort service tier. The primary focus of the services that fall in this tier is data recovery via backups. Oracle uses commercially reasonable efforts to restore the affected service. Backups are taken on a periodic basis and vary based on the type of data being protected. Databases would be backed up most frequently due to the high data change rate. And upon declaration of a disaster, the secondary site infrastructure would be built out and tapes would be recalled. Upon recovery completion, the service would be released back to the end customer. The last tier is the customer managed tier. The customer is consuming either a PaaS or an IaaS service, and no DR has been included in the service level agreement. It would be the customer's responsibility to design and implement a DR solution. Oracle's DR testing process and documentation aligns with the NIST and ISO standards. Oracle has put into place an extensive DR testing process that ensures services are always recoverable. Of course, before any DR test can take place, we must have the proper resources, the processes, and procedures in place. The component that must exist before a DR test can take place is the DR plan. Oracle's DR plan consists of the following components: switchover and failover procedures that provide all necessary technical procedures to bring a service online in the secondary facility. The procedures include all steps, including the end-to-end testing process, to ensure that before a service is released back to the consumer, it is functioning properly in all areas. The next is the communication plan, which details all necessary contact information should a disaster be declared. This would include a communication flow, conference bridges, contact numbers, etc. And we also have a staffing plan that provides details on what staff would be responsible for all aspects to bring a service online in the secondary facility. Disaster recovery testing cadence. There are two types of disaster recovery tests that are executed periodically throughout the year at Oracle. They are tabletop tests and end-to-end tests. Tabletop testing is performed on a quarterly basis and is a simulated DR scenario. It is the exact process that would be followed should a disaster be declared. End-to-end tests occur annually and are identical to an actual DR scenario. The cloud service is either switched over or failed over to a secondary facility. The testing process is monitored by the Oracle DR team, which has extensive DR experience and can ensure that the end service is following industry best practices for disaster recovery. And finally, evidence reporting. The outcome of each test is documented. The evidence report is the output of the tabletop and end-to-end testing processes. At the conclusion of each annual failover test, an evidence report is published and is made available to our customers. This provides the necessary proof that indeed Oracle has tested and confirmed that the services will be available within the SLAs that they have been committed to. And now I hand it over to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Steve Enevold, who brings in more than 25 years of industry expertise on enterprise security. He will be walking us through one of the most important components of the cloud computing domain, the cloud security and compliance for SaaS. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Kartik. That was great. So yeah, let's talk about the most interesting topic ever is information security. So Oracle Cloud Infrastructure has been built with a security-first design approach throughout the entire stack. And as Kartik said, we own the entire stack. This is all our stuff, so it's easier to secure it. But with continuous and rigorous security testing and innovation, security is given the utmost importance at Oracle. And even for example, where we discuss separation of duties for administrative and support personnel. For example, if someone's role is to manage the application, that person does not have access to the underlying infrastructure like the operating system, network, storage, and so forth. So as you can see in the picture, we have these different layers. So at the application layer, we have role-based access for the customers. At the application layer, we have global access controls at the platform layer. Encryption, various options for encryption at the storage layer. We have autonomous Linux at the operating system. And then multi-tenant container-based technology for ease of administration at the database layer. We also have high-performance Exadata systems at the hardware layer. And one thing I want to note here is that, we have the hardware, we have the software, and these have all been built to work very well together and to work securely together. We also have advanced network design and perimeter controls, computers, if you could go back, thanks. VPN, firewalls at the network layer, and then the physical security measures that we have in place at the data centers. Man traps, biometrics, armed guards, all the things that you would expect to have at a world-class data center from a security perspective. And all of these incorporate to a multi-layered security approach and the focus to go beyond defense and depth on the Oracle Gen 2 cloud infrastructure. So let's talk about our operating governance a little bit. First thing is I've been at Oracle for 25 years. I did like Oracle, as I said earlier, security exclusively for over 18 years. And for many of those 18 years, I did on-site security assessments for customers. And it's interesting, I have yet to see a company that had security driven from the very top of the company like Oracle does. Because it doesn't stop there. That flows down throughout the entire company. Security is included in all activities across all organizations at Oracle. We are very security aware. But let's start at the top. Oracle Security Oversight Committee is chaired by our CEO. And that oversight committee oversees the other security organizations and helps drive security standards and practices. But those other organizations include our Global Information Security Group, our product security, global product security, regulatory compliance, and so forth. And then another thing that is interesting is most organizations' internal audit and risk management group report to the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. At Oracle, they don't report to the CFO or the CEO, they report directly to the board of directors. And that's how serious we take this. And all of these help develop and enforce our security policies, practices, and procedures. Also, we have implemented comprehensive monitoring around incident management, service level agreement governance, and defense in depth and least privilege practices, which help us with our deny by default controls. In the previous slide, I mentioned global product security. This organization manages the processes to help ensure our products and services are developed using the latest secure coding practices and design techniques. Security reviews begin in the design phase of any development effort. And that's also somewhat unusual because in the past, security is an afterthought in any type of software development. That can't be the case these days. It's the hackers are too prolific and too many and very smart. So we have to make sure that security is brought in at the very beginning. So we start at the early design phase. They have to, if somebody's building a product or coding some software, they have to have a good business reason for it. Then it goes through design review, business justification, secure design review, and then architecture review and risk analysis. Also, each development organization has at least one security point of contact, and those are personnel that are work with global product security. And they're responsible for keeping the development organization current on secure coding practices and the latest threats. That does not preclude the regularly scheduled and required secure coding practice training that all the developers have to go through. In the verification phase, there are several types of analysis that are performed. There's static and dynamic testing. The dynamic testing includes fuzz testing. We also have an ethical hacking team that attacks the software before it's allowed to go to production. And then before deployment, besides the ethical hacking team, the service must also pass a readiness review and a final security assessment through Global Information Security. And that verifies that all the required security controls and configurations have been implemented as expected. And then once deployed, our products go through, they're thoroughly assessed and checked using internal scanning and analysis and third-party vulnerability assessments. So we have over 40 years of proven experience in enterprise software security. Oracle actually got started as a project with a three-letter agency that required a relational database, and Larry Ellison won the contract for it. So we have security from the very beginning. But some of the different aspects of it are listed here. Our customer isolation. We have virtual cloud networking. So each customer has their own virtual cloud network, which isolates them from other cloud tenants. Customers also have their own database. They have their own virtual network, and virtual machines are isolated. For data encryption, we have encryption from the end user to the data center via HTTPS, or TLS 1.2 is what we're currently using. TLS 1.3 has been approved, and we're going to start implementing that. Storage encryption is at the filer and zone file system level. And then we have database encryption via transparent database encryption, which is a product that Oracle has that we provide for customers. For security controls, customer users are authenticated to the services. And when a support or administrative user must access the production environment, the user authentication to the customer instance is controlled via our identity manager entitlements. And then they go to our cloud network access system, and then bastion hosts, and so forth. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And then there are separate instances for each customer via network and tenancy isolation, as I said earlier. Authorization is required for all operations personnel. They must log into OCNA and bastion host to get access to the environments. There is no back-end way to get into the production environment. And then threat mitigation is achieved via multiple protection layers. We have internet monitoring systems. We have the well-known SIEM, as Kartik mentioned earlier, the Security Information and Event Management System. We use network and host-based intrusion detection systems. And then we have several scanners that we use for scanning known good configurations and looking for vulnerabilities. Under visibility, our monitoring is, we have comprehensive monitoring at all levels, from the edge down through to the operating system and across the internet. All access within the service is captured via logging, and all operational access is logged via Bastion and PowerBroker. There's comprehensive auditing in place also to ensure that any attempted nefarious activity is captured, triaged, and alerted for security teams to investigate. Next, we have secure hybrid cloud. So identity federation. That allows our customers to control their identity store by using their own identity provider and federating to all of Oracle's clouds via IDCS, Identity Cloud Service. This gives customers the peace of mind that they control their user access, and Oracle merely federates that identity through. We also have third-party security solutions. As I said, we have internet monitoring, we have our SIEM, we have the intrusion detection systems, and so forth. And then VPN is available for customers if they want to have additional peace of mind to use a secure connection from their facility to Oracle's data center. Next, we have high availability, fault-independent data centers. Like I said, they're tier 3 plus data centers. They have everything that you would expect in there, N+1 design, redundant networks, all the aspects of the networks are redundant. The hardware is highly fault tolerant with no single point of failure. And then the data center powers from separate feeds where each piece of hardware is connected to diverse power feeds. Generators are on site in the event of a power disruption, along with battery backups. Again, all these things that you would expect a high-performance data center to have. And then secure infrastructure. Security operations, we have dedicated security personnel that monitor Oracle's cloud 24/7, 365 days a year. We have compliance certifications and attestations, including SSAE 18, SOC 1 and 2, ISO, C5, and so forth. And I'll cover more of those in the last slide. And then third-party security assessments, penetration and vulnerability assessments, and the results are provided to customers for a complete transparency. Next, we have vulnerability scanning. Internal scans are performed to identify vulnerabilities and remediate based on a combination of CVSS and Oracle internal scoring methods. So I talked about how administrators have to gain access. This is something that I have rarely seen, actually I usually have not seen in any other company that I worked with when I was doing those security assessments. You know, traditionally administrative staff would have default access to everything in production. There were some customers whose administrative staff used the same login and password. They used a shared login and password to gain access to the production environment. And to me, that was absolutely ludicrous. But so this is no longer acceptable. And, you know, we've had many public breaches that have shown how damaging giving the admins the keys to the kingdom can be. Don't get me wrong. You administrators and database and network administrators, you are incredible. I don't know how you do the job you do. It's amazing. But then again, it also can be very dangerous. You look at the Target store breach, you look at Anthem, you look at some of these breaches. Those were done because of people having access that they shouldn't have access to. So Oracle follows strict defense in depth and least privilege practices for administrative staff performing their duties in production cloud. Here's what a support administrator has to do to get close to your environment if you're an Oracle subscriber. The administrator or support person has to log into the Oracle Cloud Network Access System, OCNA. They use their login ID, their password, and a token. They put in the output from a token device that they have. OCNA does a posture check to ensure that Oracle-owned equipment is used, they have the secure desktop installed, and that both antivirus and firewall are up to date and running. If any of these fail, the user cannot get access to the Bastion host, which is the next step. So once they're into OCNA successfully, the admin must log into the Bastion host, which has functions disabled to reduce the risk of data loss, including copy, paste, FTP, access to the internet, and so forth. From the Bastion host, they have to connect to PowerBroker. PowerBroker is used to access the affected environment. It also restricts what the admin can do based on their roles and privileges. Not only that, PowerBroker logs every keystroke that person makes. And then last but not least, if the customer is using BreakGlass, they can be part of the approval flow for any administrative access to their environment. A customer security person must click that they approve that this support or admin person can gain access to their environment. Otherwise, that person is blocked right at PowerBroker. They can't get in. Furthermore, the administrator also cannot see any of the customer data unless the customer clicks that they approve that. The other thing that BreakGlass does is it allows customers to manage their own encryption keys for the transparent data encryption that we have in place. So we talked a little bit about extensive detection and scanning that we do. We do internal scans using off-the-shelf solutions. Plus, we also have several internally developed scanners and detection systems in place. We also use several third-party penetration testing companies to test new products and to verify production environments are meeting security requirements on an annual basis. These reports are also available to customers upon request. And this is to provide complete transparency to our customers that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, and if anything comes up, it's in the report, and we have to address it. Finally, Oracle's extensive portfolio meets industry and government regulatory certification and attestation requirements. We do international and regional recognized compliance standards also. So we're audited. for SOC 1 and SOC 2, ISO, and you can see the rest here, and HIPAA and PCI for the services that are impacted by those regulations. We run 2 dedicated environments for public sector. So we have United States and United Kingdom. Within the United States, there's the government cloud is, we have DoD cloud, we have public sector cloud, and so forth. And there was a question that came up earlier about if it's FedRAMP, are we FedRAMP certified? And we are FedRAMP certified, FedRAMP compliant. So we make sure that we have the required attestations to be running a secure environment for our public sector customers. So all of the above makes cloud infrastructure secure, reliable, compliant, and a complete cloud solution. We are the only company that can provide the number of SaaS applications and the entire architecture owned and run by us, built by us. We hope that this webinar was helpful and informative to you. And Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, I believe, is ready to help you with your business transformation.